Hi guys, so I'm going to be doing a replacement of the front passenger side wheel hub on my 2004 Suburban. It's a Z71 four-wheel drive, of course, and the challenge is getting the hub to release from the steering knuckle. So I've seen a lot of things about cutting and chiseling and hammering and banging, and I'm going to try and use leverage on an existing hole to try and get it out a little bit more easily than others have experienced. So I'm hoping that this can help some of you out. So what I've found is that there's a lot of times a way of utilizing existing either bolt hole locations or well, usually bolt holes in a way that allows you to get leverage on the part that you're trying to break free. I've done it to get rotors off that have been stuck to the hub itself. I've done it for a couple other things that don't come to mind off the top of my head, but this one's a new situation for that. So what I'm going to be using is 3-inch, I believe they're grade 8 because of the strength. Grade 8 bolts. They're 3-inch. They're only partially threaded, so I have to fill in the gap of using grade 8 washers as well. But hopefully this helps you guys out from having to go through the pain of just trying to bang it for an hour or two and trying to heat treat it, etc. So take a look and see what we got. So what I'm trying to get off here is this hub. Sorry about that. This hub assembly with the lugs on it, the lug bolts. So as you can see, it's really rusted back there. I've already taken out the wheel speed sensor used for the ABS. That's the cable that's there that's been removed. So what I'm looking for is to use, I've removed one of the lug studs and I just hammered it out the backside. They have a spline on them that secures them into the hub hole. So I just banged that out from the backside, and I'm going to utilize that hole, hopefully, to put pressure against the steering knuckle to kind of force that hub off. It may end up just disintegrating the hub bearing and just separating the bearing from the hub itself, the assembly, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to pause the video, get things kind of reset up, and then I'm going to start tightening on it, see if we can get this baby to come loose. Okay, so the plan is to, if you had a full threaded bolt, you wouldn't have to have the washers in there, because the bolt, the nut that we're going to use to put leverage against would slide all the way up to the back side of the flange here of the hub. But because we don't have that much thread, I've got washers to take up that gap. So the intention is to tighten, put pressure on this nut, hold this nut in place, and essentially force the bolt through it to push against the steering knuckle, which will then force back the hub and break that joint between the hub and the steering knuckle. So let's get to this. I may not have enough washers in there, is what I'm thinking about right now. So I've got a nut on the outside edge as well, and that may allow me enough gap. I'm gonna actually loosen that a little bit more, just to give myself a little bit more tension there. So we shall see. Yeah, I think I'm going to need a little bit more. So I'm going to pause it, put a couple more washers on there, just to give myself some more room. Then we'll resume. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, when I slide the washers all the way up against the back of the hub flange, I can see with the bolt touching the knuckle that I've got 1, 2, maybe 3 washers worth of thread that are buried. So I should have enough thread now to really put some force onto that steering knuckle. And I'm going to take the I'm going to take the nut that was at the end just off completely, and I'm just going to use a piece of steel angle iron, 1/8 inch or so thick, pretty strong, and tighten this baby up, and that gives that bolt something to push against while I'm tightening this down. Now I need to hold this nut because the nut is the only thing that's really causing the bolt to move forward. It is definitely tight, and I'm getting a lot of flare out there. So I'm going to hit on it a little bit, see if it breaks loose. Now that there's quite a bit of tension on it. It's putting up quite the fight, for sure. I'm going to put a breaker on it just to make it a little easier to get some good leverage. I also realized that that I have the existing bolts are still in there, so I'm going to back those out real quick to make sure that those don't create any kind of additional resistance. The top one here is kind of a pain to get any kind of pressure on, because the stud for the ball joint is there, but you don't actually have to take it out. You can just move it out of the way, pull it back so that it's disengaged from the hub, and leave it in place, and then you can just reinsert it after you pulled out after you got the hub out. Okay, now with 2 of them out completely and the 3rd one just resting out of place, we'll resume. Okay, good news. As we can see, we've got a break there now. Yeah, we've broken that loose. So it took quite a bit of force to get that to remove, but I'm not banging on it and stuff, you know. off of here. The threads were a little smashed at the end there where it was pushing against the steering knuckle. And now let's see how the rest of it comes out. Okay. Yep. And that's what was happening. That's how I knew it was a bad hub. This. It shouldn't look like that. Should be able to drive a little bit of a wedge in there. Kind of pry that out. That's the dust shield there. See if we can get a little bit more pressure on it. Okay, I'm going to work this a little bit more, but I've got a separation all the way around. So now that that main break has happened, I can probably just rotate this around and maybe do that again on the other side, and we'll see how that goes. two of the three are now free, and it looks like I need to just wedge out this top section, get a third piece in there, and we should be good. Just trying to figure out where is the best spot to do that that will actually bite enough. Massage these threads a little bit to get them to where they're not tight, hand tightening them up. It's kind of annoying. This one's going to be a little bit tighter, a little bit trickier. That might work. Let's see. Yep, I'm going to get this guy here. And that's the full thread width. Okay, so let me take the camera here off and show you what we got. I know this took a while, but so now we have a gap that is right in here. You can see where that mating surface is, right in there. That's what we were trying to break free. Again, right in there, where you can see that dry metal. It's lighter color, it's kind of rust color versus the really dark outer surface. So you can see the inside of that gap. Now we have that gap all the way around. On this side you can see where that bolt is going through, that's the gap, and we should just now be able to, once I get that bolt out of here, pull that bad boy back off. And I didn't have to bang around on it or cut anything, so all in all, not a bad deal. And if I had to do it again, it'd be a lot faster. Okay, so I got that bolt back off with the washers on it. And there you go. Okay, so the moral of this story is if you have a bolt location or a stud hole here that you can use to put pressure against the piece that you're trying to remove, whether it be the rotor or in this case the wheel hub assembly, use leverage, because it will be a lot less work and a lot more effective by doing that. And yeah, time to go get this bad boy cleaned up, get a new one in, get back on the road. Hope that helped. See you later.